Good evening, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, this evening, my thoughts are all about consciousness because that's certainly what I am filling my mind with and awareness of. And it's certainly what my meditation is all about these days. It's about connecting with a higher consciousness. And I hope that you were able to join me on this morning's meditation, a live meditation, which is, of course, recorded and shared on my YouTube channel too. So just look for live stream recordings on that channel. And tonight, I'm still thinking about the same thing, which is fantastic. And some of you know that some of my journey, most of my journey, in this direction that I'm moving in was started by an awakening that I had an experience with, or I actually experienced an awakening. And around that time, I also did some study with Eckhart Tolle and Kim Eng, and it was a wonderful flow of learning and experience and awareness and wisdom. And that flow has continued, thankfully. And so today it only makes sense to me to share a quotation that I came across this evening, and it's by Eckhart Tolle. And this quotation says, "The awakening of consciousness is the next evolutionary step for mankind. The awakening of consciousness is the next evolutionary step for mankind." Now, again, when I said I had an awakening, and it's definitely in consciousness, I will say that it was such an overwhelming experience and quite beautiful, but not easy. It would have been impossible for me to miss that something very, very different was happening in my experience. And yet, I believe that a lot of people go through awakenings, and oftentimes when times are not so easy, yet most people just move on with life and just continue. And then there are people who are seekers that are looking to unite with this higher consciousness and can get to that same space or get to those spaces in different levels of realization, I'll say. Now, I do know that a lot of people are interested in this. So you might know, and maybe if you don't, I'll let you know that consciousness studies are happening in everything today, as far as I can see. In terms of, if we look at artificial intelligence, it's looking at consciousness. If we're looking at healthcare, it's looking at consciousness through neuroscience. If we're looking at just people going back into ancient healing, that's looking at consciousness. There are so many different areas. So again, when we look at IT is looking at consciousness, and we're looking at healthcare, looking at consciousness. So all of this, and why are people looking? Because you know that in terms of religion and spirituality, there's always been this connection with consciousness, sometimes not really spoken about in that word. It will often be termed something like an awareness that defies words, right? That sort of idea. There's a peace that surpasses language. That sort of terminology will be used. And oftentimes it seems very abstract. And it is, because the space of consciousness that we can get to is so unique and so different and so wonderful than what we're used to in most of our day-to-day existence. So I came across this quotation by Ramana Maharshi, and this quotation I thought put it very well. And it said, "Mind is consciousness which has put on limitations. You are originally unlimited and perfect. Later, you take on limitations and become the mind." And so, if any of you have looked into my course on eyesight, which is on Udemy now, and certainly you can take it through me personally, but you can also, so reach out to me if you're interested. You can also look at the educational platform called udemy.com, which again, I'm not earning anything for saying that to you. I will tell you that it's an excellent site for education, and I do know that it's a fantastic place to take this course too. But I will tell you that this is the whole idea in terms of spirituality, that there's something that we knew when we came into existence that over time has been clouded by layers of ego, we'll say. And our ego combines with our mind and then becomes our mind. And then we start believing we are the mind. And this is a really important distinction to make. So, whether we're doing meditation or whether we're just learning about these sorts of ideas, that this is understanding something deeper, which is what so many cultures and religions have encouraged. So, everything from Christianity or Catholicism to Hinduism and I will say Judaism, uh, any secular religions are actually looking to unite with that same space, which leaders have shown, and spiritual leaders and teachers and gurus have shown. And certainly Buddha showed this in his way, Krishna showed this in his way. Jesus showed it, Muhammad showed it. So, this sort of idea, but it's our understanding of it. And again, these layers of consciousness that we can get to, or different levels that we can get to, until we're ready to receive that sort of information, it will really not make sense. So today I would love for you to sit down and think, are you looking at what level of consciousness are you working from? And so many people are not thinking of this on a regular basis, right? Yet there's a lot of people that are today. And if you are aware that you are looking at higher levels of experience, and that will mean, in my opinion, that you will have understood some of your emotions, some of your own thinking and thought patterns, and then moved into connecting with the spiritual space. Because I honestly feel that our life experience is about teaching us, it's about learning every step along the way. And then once we've learned a certain amount, we're able to handle something new and different and fantastic. So I will stop plugging spirituality for this video at least, but I will encourage you to do it. I thought what was interesting is that a lot of people would think, oh, there's spirituality and there's science, and the two are actually quite closely connected. So I came across another quotation by Eckhart Tolle, but guess who he's quoting? It's Einstein. So to combine the two into this quotation, it says, this quotation, I want to know the mind of God, Einstein said. The rest are details. What is the mind of God? Consciousness. What does it mean to know the mind of God? To be aware. And this is what I would love to leave you with. How aware are you of your thoughts, your words, and your actions that then allow you to vibrate at a higher level, a higher frequency, a frequency that's more connected with compassion and happiness and joyfulness, and long lasting happiness would be the joyfulness, and bliss, they'll say. And I will say that I definitely experience moments of bliss. Hopefully, that will become more and more consistent. And I know it will. There's this knowing that, yeah, I'm on the right path to be exactly there. And there's love in this space. And I cannot even tell you the difference in my experience compared to, let's say, 5 years ago, where I loved. But today, the depth with which I love things. So whether it's nature around me, whether it's people, whether it's friends, whether it's relationships, past or present, it's so much more. And I would wish this for all of us, and I'm wishing it for you today. And I would love for you to think about how conscious are you about your connection with your thoughts, words, and actions. I would encourage you to work from a space of consciously creating this. I wish you a fantastic evening ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great evening, everyone.